Every day, someone in our community is facing a challenge they shouldn't have to face alone. Your business can change that. When you join the Community Pay It Forward family, your kindness becomes action, and your sales becomes hope. For as little as $20 a month, you help guide families, nonprofits, and neighbors from crisis to stability. One small step, one powerful mission, one community coming together. Join the family today. Visit the website or scan the code and become a business where people can shop with purpose and support with heart.
Warning: the brown cloud is approaching. Some will try to outrun it. Others may not be so lucky. But don't worry, it's all part of the fun at the Chili Cook-Off for books and board games. Where the chili is hot, the flavors are bold. And Bear E has your back with the official Brown Cloud Preparedness Kit. Follow the plan, know your exits, and whatever you do, hold your breath, because this temporary pain is all for a great cause. Join us, laugh with us, survive the brown cloud. Together at Key Largo Lounge in Greeley.
Join us November.
Today we get to welcome a leader who doesn't just build systems, he builds momentum, clarity, and confidence. Please help me celebrate Jordan Templeton Harris, founder and president of Fitzgerald Built, as the newest member of our Community Pay It Forward giving family. He doesn't operate as a vendor, he operates as a force multiplier, a strategic partner who helps leaders. Whether an organization is growing, transforming, or trying to get unstuck, Jordan brings the operational intelligence and accountability that turn ideas into measurable outcomes. And now, he's chosen to stand with us, to make sure no one has to face a difficult moment alone. That's what makes this partnership special. That's what makes Jordan family. Please visit his profile, share his badge, and help us welcome him the way only this community can. Welcome to the family, Jordan. We're honored to walk this mission with you.
Everybody, how's it going? It's Zach Clayton with Community Pay It Forward, the Come Together Compass, and the Pact Podcasting Networks. Welcome to Community Impact. We are live, which is something different from what we've been doing in the past, but Les wanted to come on and make sure that we were available for any questions that you may have. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. And if you would like, just ask in the chat, hey, Zach, can I get a link to come on? And I'll bring you on and you can ask Les any questions that you would like. We've also got 2 videos that we're going to be sharing tonight. But our main purpose is tonight, we're going to be taking a closer look at something that's been showing up in conversations about entrepreneurship and wealth building. It's called Wealth Exponential. And it presents itself as a community where investors, managers, and operators come together inside a structured system designed to help people grow wealth faster and more intentionally. They describe it as a network, not a coaching program, not a mastermind, and not a passive investment club. It's built around shared language, shared framework, and a repeatable architecture that is supposed to help disciplined people work together. So we're going to explore what it really means. We'll look at the membership tiers and the promises, the structure, and the reality behind the marketing. My goal is simple. I want a little bit of clarity. I want to find out more honesty about it, what it is, and I want to help people understand what they're stepping into and help you make money for yourself or your nonprofit. I know Les was really he's very much wanting nonprofits to join us for this today, because this is an opportunity for nonprofits to fund what they're passionate about. So Les Simpson is here with me right now. Let me go on ahead and bring him on. How's it going, Les?
It's doing great. Thank you for having me on tonight.
Yeah, not a problem. So together we're going to ask questions that matter. So Les, let's let you go on ahead and start telling us a little bit about Wealth Exponential, please.
Sure. Well, first off, the gentleman behind it, there's a website that all of you can go to and join free. But what it is, Dr. Robert Needham, first off, he's so well known. He's on the front cover of USA Today and MSN Business. Needless to say, you don't get there by not knowing what you're doing. And well, I'll give you a little history. He helped launch 16 of the space shuttles. He built a special insurance agency where he created special programs where he had 5,000 agents. He did $100 million a year for 8 years. He is known for building 300 types of franchises, multi-million-dollar operations. So needless to say, he knows a little bit about business. And now he has Wealth Exponential. And this, big businesses make it because they collaborate with other big businesses. And unfortunately, little businesses kill each other through competition. And neuroscience says it's not supposed to be that way. Neuroscience is we were all created, first off, to have value in ourselves, but also to appreciate the value in everybody else and to support them. And that's exactly what Wealth Exponential does. The Wealth Exponential is his legacy. He's now 71. And the concept of it is when a person comes on with a membership free and one of our members purchased from them, we ask that member to take 5, 10, 15% of what they consider their acquisition cost and put it into a pool. And when they buy from one of our members, they do the same. And so this pool is filling, and you can bring other businesses on. And this is where I really want to have nonprofits listen. You can join free. You can bring other businesses on. And when they purchase from other members, you get points. And those points determine how much you get of this pool. Plus the fact Dr. Needham has, for instance, a 4-day deal where he teaches people investment grade business. And to explain that, investment grade, if you're familiar with franchising at all, you know it takes 5 to 7 years to get your money back before you start really making profit. With Dr. Needham's franchises, they're called investment grade, where a person gets their money back in 1 to 2 years, if you could possibly imagine that. And he has a 4-day conference or an education where he teaches people that. He charges $3,000. Now, if you are a nonprofit and you brought in a person that decides to go to this, you get a $600 donation. He has many other services, which we're going to go through some tonight. And this is big boys. For instance, you can go to a big company and we have services for them. It might be 20 grand and you might get 10%. So this is an unbelievable way for you to get funding just by helping other businesses do well. And that's what it's about. And I had Dr. Needham speak to an angel investor group in Denver, and he was explaining to the angels about this, and they were excited. But they did this. I'm going to play a video here, and it's going to tell you why this was created, and because there's a complete change coming in business, and that is collaboration. And he calls it sharing capitalism instead of always being in competition with each other. And so I'm going to play this video, and people can write in and ask questions, and we'll be glad to answer them afterwards. But this is the gentleman himself, Dr. Robert Needham.
Okay, and just to let everybody know that one of the things we have to do with this is because of the size of the video, Les has to play it on his cell phone. So he's going to be holding it up. Les, you're a little off center. There you go. That's closer to center. So
Okay.
I'm going to try to find a way to have Les send me this file, and then that way I can share it with you afterwards. But right now, this is the best we can do, so please enjoy this video. I'm going to shut off my camera so I'm not pulling the bandwidth. But so Les, it's all you.
Okay. I'll hold it back here. Come back.
Well, first, let me say I want to thank everyone for inviting us here. You know, I jokingly said in our first meeting yesterday that I'm what you would call a hillbilly rocket scientist. You know, so I began, like many of you described here over these last few days of conversation. I grew up very poor. I should have never even been on this stage by the way the track goes. You know, I appreciate your story so much about how you eating out of garbage cans to being one of the top, athletes in the world. So, we heard Ben this morning, and he started off talking about the fourth turning, and I'll cover that briefly for a second as we go through this. Then, we got on a little bit further, and JJ talked about fear. We'll definitely talk about that here for a second. And then finally, Bill talked about uncertainty and how to overcome uncertainty. So, in the past 33 years, I've had the opportunity, after leaving government, and I guess my claim to fame is I launched the first 14 space shuttles. Okay, so I didn't do it alone. There's a whole organization called NASA, but I was the rocket scientist. Okay, so so as a result, I left that career though. Why? Because my dream was to have two things, and I want to speak to you about that here. My dream was to have two things. I was either going to fly high-speed aircraft, meaning I was going to fly on the space shuttle, or number two, and I was a little thick on him. And number two, I wanted to own my own business. Because I'd looked through time and I saw that the only people that ever made a lot of money was people who owned businesses. And so I figured I wanted to own my own business. Well, when they told me I wasn't going to get to fly on the space shuttle, I decided that dream ended. And one door closed, another door opened, so I went into business for myself. And that was 40 years ago. I left Colorado Springs, moved to Birmingham, Alabama, went to law school, all the way got a PhD in business, a few other things like that. And I learned how to build a business. And so we're going to talk about that. But what I realized is that today, and by the way, we've seen beautiful speeches, right? We've seen Generation Z get up and tell us, what they think. And we've seen people with lots of experience get up and tell us what we think. I'm entering my 8th decade on this planet. Okay? So I'll be 71 next month. And so I'm traveling around the sun like all of us. And I realized that there are 3 stages in life that people go through. One of those is they have to have a vision. Second, they have to prepare a system for that vision. And third, they have to create a network for that vision. I also learned something else along the way. If you've ever heard the concept called convergence, okay, well, this is the way convergence goes. A friend of mine, Dr. Robert Clinton, was a guy who originally created what's called leadership emergence technology, and this convergence piece was a part of that, okay? And what it says is that we start off with an inspiration. Some people would call it divine calling. It depends on your faith, right? But we start off with an inspiration. The second thing we do is we get a chance to listen and learn from others. All right? Third thing we get to do is we get to use what we have learned to teach others. And then this is where most people stop their conversion process. Then you arrive at what you're going to do. You convert. Everything that you hope to learn in your life, you have your moment. But the real truth about that moment is not the moment. It's what comes after that. Some people call it afterglow. Some people call it legacy. That's when you give back. So it's a cycle of life. So we have all these generations here in various phases of this cycle of life. Me, I'm in my fourth cycle. And so the Lord has blessed me with a fantastic number of businesses. I've done more than 10,000 closings of businesses. Okay, I've sit down and listened to entrepreneurs of every kind you can imagine tell me their dreams. And so I've just been blessed to have that in my life. So we created two companies recently. One of them is called Investment Grade Systems. And specifically, we'll talk a little bit about investment grade franchising since I spent 35 years doing that. One slide, we'll spend that much time on it. And then we also created a network. That third thing, remember the network? We call this Wealth Exponential. And the title for this talking, The Entrepreneur Awakening in the Exponential Era, it says that we said it already in the talks here. What's it going to be like when this session ends, when this cycle finishes? So one of the first things, I wrote a book called Wealth 3.0 a long time ago, okay? And one of the things I studied was, the very thing that was talked about earlier, is we started with monarchy, the rise of the kings. People, they owned the land, people worked for them. And then there was this great awakening in people for freedom. And so we left and we came here. And during that thing, we were seeking independence. We took power from the few and we hoped to give it to the hands of the many. Well, they didn't like that very much. The system didn't like it very much. So they created the Industrial Revolution. And they got us all to come back out of being entrepreneurs to go back to being employees. What I call economic slaves. Okay? And they started telling us that owning fractions of things was the way to wealth. Now, I'm a mathematician, and from the first time I ever learned about mathematics, one thing I know, if you multiply anything by a fraction, you get less. So I wrote another book called Why Divide When You Can Multiply. So it makes sense, why would we ever want to do that, right? Well, then we moved into another era. And by the way, these are 250-year cycles. He talked about the minor cycles. There's 4 minor cycles in the 250, or those 80s he talked about. But what we realized that Alexander Tytler said that we cycle through these 250 years, and we come to this place where we're willing to just give it all up. And think about what we hear in the news today. People, all right, I'm not going to have a job, might as well just quit. Let somebody else give me my money. Let the world take care of me. Well, that's not the way we were wired. That's not the way we were built. But there's no hope. People start thinking like that, right? So I'm here to tell you there's lots of hope. And I'm a pretty good predictor. If you were to read some of my books, you find that stuff I wrote as much as 15 years ago was revolutionary then became true. That's probably because I'm just lucky. All right? But what I'm going to say to you is that what I know, here's what happened. This 250-year cycle got broke. It broke early with the introduction of technology. And so what happened is in 1950, a thing called a CPU came out. And it was all about addition. You know, add one and one and get two. I remember when I first started in computer science back in the early 70s, we punched things on cards to get a simple addition thing I could do by hand in 1 minute. It took me typing 30 cards and putting it in a computer before it gave me the result. Sometimes more than that.
No, go.
All right. And so then that lasted for 50 years. So it wasn't a 250-year cycle that technology kicked in. It was reduced to 50. Well, in around 2000 to 2025, the GPU came out, speeded things up, and it was about multiplication. And we got all excited about that too. It was announced just recently at the start of 2026 that QPU is now going to go commercial, quantum processing units. And this is no longer binary. It's no longer 1 or 0. It's 1 and 0 and maybe 1 and 0 at the same time, which gives us an exponential view of the world. And we're seeing that happen already with AI. But AI is really a GPU thing. So what is coming next? Well, what I know is if we follow this pattern, 250 to 50 to 25, there's 5 years till we find out. Now, I could be wrong by as much as 10 years. But what I do know is the world as we know it will not continue to follow this pattern. It's going to change. And so the question is, are you going to be a part of the solution? Or are you going to be a part of the problem?
I'm going to be the whole problem.
Might as well be the whole problem. So the idea is that I believe the answer is networks. So let's move on. So I came up with an interesting theory in this book called Collaborative Commonwealth, which took a look at how collaboration could change the world. And I started with this idea of the concept of water. It started with drop. I found it very interesting that the #1 business is going to be represented by a drop. I didn't know that. I represented 2015. Okay? But what I do know is that drops are individual thinkers. And when individual thinkers run together with other individual thinkers, they form streams. And that's called alignment. All right? The next phase is when two streams run together, they form rivers. That gives you power. And by the time you get out here to the ocean or a lake or whatever body of water it's running into, you get potential. Unlimited potential. So, we've heard a lot from drops today. And some of them have asked to form streams. We've even got a couple of rivers going. But what we really need to be doing is building a network. And one of the things that excited me, I didn't know, still can't spell Karitsu, but I joined today. I remember, okay. But what I did when I looked it up, I realized it's a Japanese word for collaboration. Okay? And so, and y'all look at things differently than most other angel groups do. Most other angel groups say, well, 1 in 10, it's a win. But y'all do more due diligence, you take your time, you study, you learn the metrics of the business. That excites me. Now, I somehow grew up to be an accredited investor, but I've never been an angel investor. I don't have a family office. I give most of my money away. So the guy that said sharing don't work, I disagree. I believe in an abundant world, not a world of scarcity. And I can prove it over and over again. So Reed's Law, we've discussed some others, Metcalf and others earlier in these last 2 days, but Reed's Law says that it is the one exponential way to calculate the value of a network.
I heard one time, and it really stuck with me, in a network economy, whenever you add one more node, create value for every other node.
That's
and
correct.
I think that's so
That's exactly what
important.
Reed's Law says. 1 and 1 becomes 3. 1 and 1 and 1 becomes 4. By the time you get out here, very long, you're into the 4. It just grows exponentially. So what that tells us is if we can bring several universes together right now. I'm building the universe called Wealth Exponential. It's not about me, it's about we. Okay? And no one owns we, by the way. We is a collaborative. So the idea is that we is for that smaller entrepreneur that doesn't have the money to do what they need to do. It's for the average and ordinary entrepreneur that make up the majority of the people out there. You know, between the Gen Z group and the 40 to 60 group, we represent 150 million people. If we could just get less than 1/10 of 1% to follow this thesis, we could change the world. It won't take millions. A few 100,000 will make it work. Okay? Next slide quickly. So I wrote this book called Escaping Economic Slavery, and I took a look at what is called manipulated scarcity. And we live in a world of manipulated scarcity today. Scarcity as a pure economic form is perfect capitalism. However, when it's manipulated, it's not good for anybody. All right, so I'm a shared capitalist. I guess I'm no longer a traditional capitalist, but I'm certainly not a socialist either. You know, I truly believe in making a profit and doing those type of things. So we move the idea from scarcity to abundance, and we don't have time to discuss that today. So the last book, a series of books we wrote, sort of like Star Wars. You know, Star Wars came out in the middle, then they went back to the front. So since I've done a lot with franchising, we wrote the first investment grade book on franchising. And it just became the model. Now we're about to release investment grade systems and Wealth Exponential, 2 other books. Then we'll have investment grade SaaS, investment grade platform, and all kinds of other versions of that. And what this is a new thought process, not unfamiliar to y'all, but to the majority of the world it is unfamiliar. And that you have to have a lot of metrics to measure something by before you should ask somebody to invest in it. All right? We won't get into those details right now, except this one. I realize that any time that you have a linear possibility with one person running a business, the visionary, the leader, the hope of the world, right? That it is limited to 24 hours a day. I don't care how much money you work. So we developed a system called Investor, Manager, Operator that allows these 3 independent segments to substitute for that so that we can operate it. And we bound them around a thing called the Collaborative Sharing Agreement. Some of you that like crypto, you'd call that a smart contract. What happens when you do that is you move from the linear growth over time to exponential growth quickly. You get this pattern of 1, 2, 4, 8, Reed's Law. So I'm not going to go through this example in detail except to say when you can develop a set of metrics, and this happens to be for franchising specifically, okay? In this example, $100,000 with a $300,000 revenue, what you're interested in is can I convert ROIC in less than 2 years? Now, if you can do it in 1, you've got this magic machine. So let me say this to you. If I have a magic box, and I say to you that I can stick $1 in on the left side and turn the crank, and $2 comes out the other side, this is the tough question for today. Do you care what goes on inside the box? As long as it's legal, moral, and ethical. If you care, you're an artisan. You love to tinker with stuff. If you don't care, you're an architect. You're building the systems for the future. It's really that simple. So the idea is that we know how to show people how to take $100,000 and turn it into $1.6 million in 5 years and never spend more than $100,000. you use this exponential methodology to do it. We teach this in what we call the immersion, or by joining the network itself. I was invited here by Les. Some of y'all know Les, and he introduced me, to Nathan and his team, a wonderful group of people, by the way. And this hillbilly rocket scientist got a chance to come and speak before some pretty amazing people. Y'all done some beautifully amazing things. So I want to thank you for your generosity of your time. And I guess if there's questions, I'll answer.
All right, fantastic. Round of applause here. For a couple of questions, if we've got them here, before we wrap up with our most valued company. Take it away.
Well, first, let me say I want to thank everyone for inviting us here. I jokingly said in our first meeting yesterday that I'm what you would call a...
Yeah, it's going back.
All right. So, Les, what I'm doing is I'm sending you a program that can hopefully help you send me that large file. Okay, so it's in our messages that we've been going back and forth. Try that to see if that'll work, and then maybe I can boot that into that area tomorrow, and we can take and share that with everybody. But you can get a hold of the website that he was talking about the second program on wealthexponential.com. I was showing the website before.
Zach, make sure it's my link. This one, they'll get lost. If you send the one to my link, my affiliate, it'll go immediately into my group. And so if you want to take the meet and CSC and then copy that link, you can do that, but they'll get lost just going to the website and trying to join.
Okay, I'll go on ahead and I'll switch that out and share that in the information. We do have two questions for you, Les. Jake wants to know what makes this different from other multi-level programs?
Well, first off, this is a two parts. One level affiliate program. It's not multi-level. And second, it's like if the multi-level, every single one of the representatives, they were sharing all their sales with the other representatives.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So if they're,
yeah,
because we're sharing with everybody. In fact, that's one of the things that we're also going to be selling franchises of 2,500 per zip code. And all the sales of that, part of it goes into a pool that everybody in the country share. So if you know of a network marketing company, let's say, that sells hand cream, and you put 100 of them together, and everybody, once they make a sale, puts it in a pool and everybody shares in it. So it's not about me. It's about we, and that's the big one. And that's the fact. And one of the things I really want to clear here, if you understood who Robert is, Dr. Needham, that's what I want people to understand. It's like I talked to a guy earlier today, and I says, we're not about competition. He says, then you don't want me. I kill the competition. I says, you're not for us. We're about collaboration. We're about cooperation with everybody. And he says, I haven't done that for 30 years. And I says, well, you don't have the right mindset for this. And and he says, well, I agree. And that was the end of our conversation. Because this is all about sharing the way that we were created inside to do. Everybody, in fact, give you an example. Take an architect, take a carpenter, and take a garbage collector. Which one of those, is there any of those that doesn't need the other person?
Oh, no, there's everybody needs someone else. Even the people who think that they are, the people who are self-admitted loners, they need other people. Okay, none of us can produce everything that we need. None of us.
100%.
So,
And so this is a movement of businesses working together. And that's the big thing. And there's going to be so many opportunities for you to bring. In fact, one of the things I tell people, if you want to bring in your biggest competitor and share in their revenue.
okay.
But one thing I say is find the companies that you really want to be part of and bring it into the membership. And we will build them. But the other video I'm going to show you is the tremendous technology that we have behind this. And that's the other video that shows this is the gentleman that built Wealth Exponential, built the back offices of $4 billion network marketing companies. And so he has all the technology we're going to be using for this. And you're going to be able to take part in those commissions. Like, for instance, if Dr. Needham has a $50,000 deal where he consults people on building a franchise, if you bring somebody in and they take his, you get a $5,000 fee, and so forth. This is really collaboration.
Okay, the second question, we've just got in 3 more questions, but I'll run those. I'll run those after the video. But the second question is, can you please explain that example again? He was talking about looking inside the box, and if you're not in, yeah, please.
Okay. The question is, if you can put $1 inside the side of a box and you crank it and $2 comes out, do you really care what's inside the box as long as it's legal, ethical, and it benefits everybody? If you do, then you're an artist. You want to play with things. If you don't and all you care about is results, you're an architect. And that's where you want systems that make things work instead of just playing with them.
See, it's actually kind of funny that Julie asked me that question, because I was thinking that myself. And I was trying to think of which one I would be. And I love archaeology, but I'm definitely not an architect. I would definitely want to find out what's inside, what is multiplying my numbers, so I would want to tinker with it, unfortunately. But yeah, so the one question this gentleman has to leave, the system relies on qualified participants. How does someone become a qualified participant, and who decides that?
Okay, I'm not sure where they're coming from. First off, you can join free. We have 3 levels of membership. One is free, one is $9, and one is $29. At the free, you can bring in other companies and share in their wealth. You can buy, get commissions. At $9, we have groups where you can participate and post. At $29, you can have your own group. And you can educate people. In fact, it connects into the Google News feed. So you can have your own group, but on the chapter, you can also have a chapter, and that's kind of like a BNI group. You can have your own networking, and everybody in that network is going to receive income from everybody else. But if you want to, the first time ever, insurance agents, car salespeople, the real estate people can now have their own networking group under our name, which is going to be very famous very quick.
Okay. And then one of the third question was about the tiers. And so we will, we'll probably save the tier question for next week when we can break this down a little bit more. But sure. Let's go on ahead and this is the website. This is what the website looks like, and I will have the proper link in the description of this video, so you can just go down there and you can look, and that'll connect you with Les's team. Please make sure that you let Les know that if you are interested in learning more about this, make sure you let Les know that you're coming from Community Pay It Forward. That way we can turn some of that money into donations to help people up. So,
also, one other thing, if you like what you hear tonight, tomorrow at 12 o'clock
yes,
Mountain Time, Zach's going to have a link where you can attend a meeting of Dr. Needham explaining more about Wealth Exponential and also the person that's behind the technology.
Les, is that going to be an interactive meeting?
Questions, yes, at the end.
Okay, so it will. All right, I will find that. I will find that link, and I will get that posted. Well, look for it while we watch this second video. So now, once again, this video, can you explain what we're going to be watching now?
The other co-founder of this is the technology, the one that builds the websites, the one that has coaching programs, the one that's built over 400 membership organizations around the world. And he's number one in his industry. His name is Kyle Welton. And if you look him up, but he is the co-founder behind this and the investment grade everything. This is the gentleman that has the brains for technology.
Well, that's good. This is the guy that I need to get a hold of, because my brains for technology, I've learned very rapidly this last couple weeks. I don't have those brains for technology. But here we go. This is another video. We'll be back in about 15 minutes. So please stick with us. If you have any more questions, folks, please keep putting them in the chat. You're doing a fantastic job. You all have my phone number. You can text me directly, and I will do exactly what we're doing. We'll add them into the chat, have Les break them down for us. We'll be back after this video. We'll give about 10 more minutes, and then we'll let you go for the evening. Sound good?
Yep. And I will stay 10 minutes or whatever to answer whatever questions.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, here we go. Keep watching. Keep sticking with us. This is Community Impact. We are with Les Simpson, our master, when it comes to all of this wonderful stuff. So make sure that you get a hold of Les by contacting him at 303-579-6881. That's 303-579-6881. And like I said, Les, I sent you a message. If you can take a look at that and see if you can transfer that video, and then I can add that to the video later. But we are going to play this one more video, and then we'll be back to answer any questions here very shortly.
Okay.
Here is we will be using that project management software for not only inside of executing when we're actually doing projects that require project management, we'll actually be using this for our investment grade systems and different things like that that happen inside the Wealth Exponential vertical as well. There's two primary ways that we code. I come from, as you'll see in a little bit, a custom coding background. I started building membership platforms in the year 2000, so it was 4.5 million lines of custom PHP, MySQL, Java, all of that. And then in 2015, began to move to WordPress and became one of the few developers, in the world that develop WordPress platforms and membership platforms at scale. So I have WP Platform, where we focus on WordPress platforms. And now we're kind of making our way back to custom coding, but now with Vibe, which means AI-driven code. We're doing a lot of Vibe coding and helping people bring their Vibe code platforms to market. TribePub is where we actually build the platform unified business. That's mainly what you're interacting with when you're interacting with wealthexponential.com. TribePub is all about creating platform unified businesses for tribe leaders. Dr. Needham is the tribe leader. Les, much like we talked about, I'm kind of the technology company behind Dr. Needham. And, TribePub is what we're doing there. We also have Gamplify, which you would appreciate, Les, is gamification, social engagement, architecture, and behavior design. And we'll get a little bit into that. This is points, levels, badges, achievements, streaks, and the types of things that allow people to get deeply engaged with membership communities, change behavior, increase learning, those types of things. We have our own digital publishing platform called Gap Books, where it's kind of like Kindle on steroids and gamified. And then Tripod is our marketing system that we use to market platforms and different things like that. So all of these technology stack will be behind Wealth Exponential over the next several months. Tripub is the one that you're seeing now. A little bit about my background. I call myself an architect. It's hard to explain all the things that I do. That architecture journey's been basically a 3-step journey. From a platform architect to a social engagement architect to an intangible economy architect. 2015 was roughly around the time Dr. Needham and I started connecting. So he started me down that whole world of collaboratism and intangible economy. And I've been a sales strategy architect for 25 years now because I've bootstrapped all of my companies. When I explain my journey, I use Jeffrey Moore's Crossing the Chasm because my whole business life has been getting people to adopt technology, right? And so I've been kind of going along this. When I look at the technology curve that he came up with, I kind of look at it as a mountain, right? And there's a chasm point that you have to jump through. There's peak adoption, and then there's long tail. And this is where I lead all my clients through as they're getting adoption for their tribes and also as they're getting adoption for the technology. I started my journey in the year 2000. By 2010, I'd kind of crossed that chasm. And now, I guess, in ranking myself here in 2026, I'm ranked #1 on Upwork for membership platforms, gamification, all the different things that would allow me to rank. I don't know how you rank yourself in the world, but when you come up the top search results in Upwork for these types of things, it's one of the best ways I know how to rank myself from that standpoint. In 2010, I got tired of just building membership platforms. I wanted to start getting people actually engaging with the content, community, and commerce. Not just building the technology of the membership platform, but actually going deeper with the learning, going deeper with the coaching, going deeper with all of the different business models that we supported. By 2020, I'd crossed the chasm on that, had built hundreds of gamification platforms, and now ranked top in the world, top on Upwork for gamification, those types of things. And now as social engagement architect, been doing a lot in that arena and, working on crossing the chasm there. So it's been this kind of journey of, really addressing technology in multiple ways. The main way I manifest that is TribeHub. And TribeHub is about growing, monetizing, and serving tribes. When we think about Wealth Exponential, we're a tribe, right? We're a tribe of people. It's just literally a business association. And there's not an entity. It's literally we. It's going from me to we, right? But that tribe does have a tribe leader. Dr. Needham has been the face and the founder and the impetus of this. And, he is an organization, a brand, an author, a coach, consultant. He's an entrepreneur, speaker, creative influencer. This is my avatar. I basically build platforms for the Dr. Needhams of the world who are doing these things. And when I say a platform, I mean a platform unified business, right? A tribe leader, and Dr. Needham talks a lot about this, the lone nut dancing in the field can dance, right? And he can draw a crowd, but that crowd then has to have a platform unified business and a place to kind of come together and really make that happen. And so, the reason I'm qualified to share this on enterprise level is because I've been doing over 25 years. I've had over 100,000 paying members to my own platforms. Quarterback, it's way more than 5 million contacts now, well over 450 organizations we built platforms for, originally 4.5 million lines of code. Now, what's important about it is we think about taking we viral is back in the year 2000, I got into this. I'd studied engineering, physics, computer science, and mathematics. I was being geared to be a nuclear reactor engineer for either commercial or military. So I had a computer background, had a mathematics background, had a physics background, but ended up pursuing some other entrepreneurial journeys. Those things failed. And my spiritual mother actually introduced me to network marketing as a former pastor and as a former golf pro. My dad was a PGA professional. We got pitched every network marketing thing under the sun. But in the year 2000, I found myself in a living room, right? This is going to become getting introduced to a network marketing opportunity. This is going to become important because viral word of mouth, person-to-person growth has been the DNA of where I even started building membership platforms. And that same type of viral growth, not with any means a network marketing financial model, but with the same processes of how do you go to create a person-to-person movement has been built into my technology since day one. And we'll take a look at that here. So take out the multi-level compensation and network marketing. I haven't worked with a network marketing company in probably 15 years, right? But the concept of how you get people to create a movement and that behavior design model has been a big part of mine. So when I got introduced to network marketing, though, I fell in love with it. I became the guy in front of the room drawing all the little circles. If you recruit two, you're going to be a millionaire in 20 days, right? But I had a gut punch real quick. I found out that 97 out of 100 people failed. I had a moral dilemma. I wasn't going to stand in front of the room and continue to promote network marketing. So I was either going to leave the industry or fix it. I decided I'm going to fix it. So I took a deep dive into really understanding the industry, came across Robert Kiyosaki, who said the richest people in the world build networks. Everyone else is trained for work. So I decided I'm going to start building networks. So how do I take this concept of people sitting in a living room, pushing play on a VHS or a CD or a audio cassette, and how do I take that out to the up and coming internet that was blossoming in the late 90s and the early 2000s? And I did that by taking what was the video presentation, the audio presentations, and making those as animated flash presentations that could stream over a 14.4 kilobyte dial-up modem with a 3-second buffer time. By being able to do and present media over the internet in those early days and that well, that's what took us to so many network marketing companies licensing our software. So I built an initial team. We launched our first site in 2001, which was a really actually nice site. Patented my one-to-one CRM. What you'll also appreciate in here is that we also created a neural dynamic profile. We literally were tracking people's use behaviors, actually determining what their decision strategy was, what their communication style was, based on how they were interacting with the software, and actually dynamically changed the content to match their auditory, kinesthetic, digital, video, audio, moving away, moving towards, all of those types of styles, and to help increase conversion. So, I mean, it was a serious patent. Wrote the first book, MLM Myth, after I read the book E-Myth, which is really important for us in the franchise industry. E-Myth was kind of the Bible of the franchise industry for quite some time. With Michael Gerber, I fell in love with system-centered versus people-centered businesses. And so I built 7 laws of network marketing and embedded those into the software code itself of how we create system-centered networks versus personality or people-centered businesses. And then I read this book in 2003, which was really, I would say, almost a prophetic book of where the internet was going, communities of commerce. This predicted social, this predicted what we really see today as what's happening. So I started building early on those concepts of building communities of commerce and really building those. Got into all the long form sales copy and how do you sell online, creating sales pages, toured all across the United States, recruiting people onto the software. And then by 2008 was a very early adopter in gamification. This was Isogenics, a multi-billion-dollar nutraceutical company. How do we get them to lose weight, run more, eat their vitamins, drink their shakes, lose weight, do all of those types of things. So we were throwing points, levels, badges, challenges, leaderboard, scorecards, team competition, all that kind of stuff way back in the day. From that standpoint. And by the time I got to about 2010, I realized, wow, I'm now building networks for networks. And much like there's Wells Fargo today and Levi Strauss, I was selling picks and shovels to the entrepreneurial landscape. To kind of put this in context, I began my first platform in the year 2000, launched it by 2001, filed a patent in 2002, published my first book in 2003. WordPress wasn't even launched in 2003, MySpace 2003, Facebook 2004. So we were a really early adopter in there. By 2008, I had started really leaning into tribes, thus Tribe Pub and all the tribe stuff that I do. Read Dreamgiver, really got an understanding of how this is a marketplace ministry versus just a traditional business, and really began to scale from there. And so began to really start working with a lot of larger ministries and different things like that. And by 2015, I kind of semi-retired because we were super successful in what we did. I kind of farmed with my wife, did a lot of other ministry stuff, launched that personal development company you and I were talking about, really studied game thinking, game dynamics, gamification, began to apply a lot of this stuff. And my little kids who were in the business holding cameras in our studios early on had become young adults. So in 2015, we began to retire all of the custom code and began to move into WordPress. Now, I got pulled kicking and screaming into WordPress because I was a custom coding guy and I wasn't big into WordPress. But as we began to look at it, we began to realize, okay, we're just hosting on the same place we've hosted our custom code. We're using WordPress as our content management system with page builders, SEO tools, security tools. We're using any one of the CRMs out there from Salesforce to HubSpot to any one of the ones. And we can actually do the social community, the learning, the gamification, the forms, all of that using sets of plugins. We can tie that to everything that's off the platform and then put our centralized reporting system right in the center. So I began to convert a lot of my enterprise level clients like wall builders, going back to political activism, very conservative political organization, the largest Amazon seller network in the world, 90,000 members selling on Amazon, kind of the Joyce Myers of the Word of Faith, millions of followers, different things like that. Glenn Beck, the Shack movie, John Osroff, going back to neuroscience and NeuroGym. Success Magazine, one of the largest personal development companies, over 100,000 members on their platform, different things like that. So we've been doing this at scale, for many, many years, and really not just tying their platform to one ecosystem, but actually being able to tie it to a much broader ecosystem. So that's TriPub. We do a lot inside of our gamification. We have CRMs, game, LMS, reporting, events, teams, boss, assess, AI, all of that. And teams will be a lot of what we're talking about less as we think about going one to many and selling a lot of different things like that. We do deep engagement in business processes. We're going to be seeing a lot of that. I'll actually show you some of that where this is Global Sisters, a business incubation for disadvantaged women all across Australia. We track their business progress from idea to launch to startup to established. We have these very in-depth, how do you take a business process, business system, phase process and break it into micro steps and then gamify it and make it fun, points, levels, badges, whether we're doing, fun, whimsical stuff or more serious gamification or full on business processes. So with that, we're now beginning to manifest that into Wealth Exponential. We haven't done a ton with the website outside of its initial launch. As you know, it has the functionality out here of dashboard, profile, chapter groups, LMS, learning, social, the member directory, groups, forms, all of that. This is just kind of that basic rollout. And of course, we have the affiliate system as well, which we'll talk about in just a minute. We did the immersion a few months back, spent quite a bit of time, Dr. Needham and I getting the immersion ready, stood up the website so that we would at least have a website out there. It's super technical. It's not a salesy website. It's more of a technical website, and just got the basic configuration going really almost today. Basically summarizes kind of our kickoff to where now we start taking all of what I just showed you in that background and really start bringing the horsepower to the business model. Dr. Needham and I, my daughter, had a call this morning, and we're going to be taking the business model of all the investment grade businesses, whether it's investment grade franchises, investment grade platforms, and all of that, and start building those in along with the chapter and the growth models and doing all of that. And so I want to thank you all for being part of the technology group here, because it's going to take a brain trust for us to get this done. And it's going to take a brain trust for us to actually, in a collaboratism, for us to build it together. So, Dr. Needham, did I miss anything you want me to share? I know that was a bullet process, but is there anything else?
Do you think it would be fruitful to share the chart that shows all the different platforms that we're bringing together? Do you have that integration of collaboratism and all of those, that one chart that shows all that?
I don't know. Yes, I think that's inside. You mean the silos that we look at?
Yeah, the silos, just so you can see how we're kind of pulling it together.
Sure.
We don't have to go through the whole thing, just kind of let them see visually what we're trying to assemble there.
Absolutely. So when I build, like with Dr. Needham, we build.
There we go. That's what I was talking about, yeah.
Very detailed scope. The first thing Dr. Needham and I did when he reached out in January, February, is really take a look at, and I've got it over here in a Miro board as well. We really looked at, what are his verticals, right? And we really try to kind of take his world and silo it up. So in the wealth silo is Wealth Exponential. Then there's wealthexponential.com/the events, like the Nashville event, all of that. Wealth Made Simple, we may roll that out, but we have investment grade franchising and all the other investment grades. Then we have all of his personal brands, his books, secondary books, those types of things that we're developing. And then there's collaboratism, which we get to say collaboratism.com now because we bought the .com, praise the Lord. And so we've got collaboratism, Center for Collaborative Sharing. And then the franchise model is kind of standing on its own over here with collaborative franchise systems, Fran tools, all of that. And so we kind of silo those up a little bit. And we're going to be actually looking at how they relate together more and more in the future. And we'll share this architecture document here in the future. We're still kind of in the process of developing it. Let me see if I have that diagram here as well, Dr. Needham. So this is kind of how those things kind of begin to work together, where you have Wealth Exponential, the event pages, the courses, its relationship to all the different investment grades will be connecting. But at the hub of it all is going to be Wealth Exponential and how it acts as the hub. Now, maybe I'm going a little too far here, Dr. Needham, let me know. If not, what we've mainly been working on most recently is really getting into this architecture document, which is going to be ready to be shared with you all very soon, where we're really trying to break down all of the language. This is not a business plan as much as it is me and my team really trying to get our minds wrapped around everything that's in Dr. Needham's wonderful mind. So we're in here really beginning to define what is Wealth Exponential, what is investment grade, what is investment grade systems, what are investment grade architects, which we all on this call pretty much are, what's an investment grade opportunity, ideas, business, franchise, platforms, which is a little bit into my world, AI, real estate, and really just investment grade to infinity, like all different types of business models. What's IMO, what's AMIS, what's our ASIM model, what's a collaborative share agreement and a covenant share agreement, then our M7 model, all of that. So we're working on all of our executive summaries. We have a full detailed business model of all the different business models inside of We, from the standpoint of all the different income streams, all the different products and services that are being offered. All of that's in here from just the memberships on down through. There's, 11 pages of business model, the AMOS model where we tack on architecture and SysOps to the IMO model. We're going to be rolling out the ASIM model, which is going to be extremely important for how we actually create investors as passive, by really creating a very structured manager and operator system that is multi-tiered, not multi-tiered from a network marketing standpoint, but multi-leveled, so that there really can be passive investors. We're really getting very deep into what investment grade systems are and defining them extremely clearly. What is an investment graded system? What's an investment grade franchise? Getting super deep in how we do that, from collaborative franchise systems as one of the vendors, and then investment grade platforms. So there's a lot of work that we've been doing kind of behind the scenes to really develop kind of the operating manuals and processes. Matter of fact, what we're starting on Tuesday, and Dr. Needham, sorry if I'm getting too far ahead on this, but we're actually taking We and investment grade through Dr. Needham's processes of how do we actually systemize it at a whole nother level. So my daughter Brooklyn and I are going to be kind of taking with Dr. Needham investment grade and We through the process of how do we scale it in the same way we scale a franchise, or the same way we scale anything else, where it kind of pulls the owner operator out and really creates even a deeper level of systems. And then those systems will make their way into technology as well.
Hopefully that gave you all a good, you might stop the recording there.
Sure, absolutely.
Ironically, Les, that was where you tried to call me, and that last little part. So, yeah, so that was a little bit there. Boy, I'll tell you, you can really tell his familiarity with technology, because he started talking there at the end, and my mind was all over the place. That's for sure. I didn't understand a thing he was saying there at the end. So
I didn't either. But that's what. It's interesting, because if you have people on here that have connections to big companies, they'll be able to sell his services to them and get commissions for it. All of his services are going to be available through Wealth Exponential. And so, in fact, we're going to have big companies that want to come on and provide all their products to all of our members. In fact, just to give you a little deal, for instance, our members, we found that if you buy a semi-load of toilet paper, you can get it 40% off. And people get a case delivered to them for 40% off. That's just one idea. We're going to end up being a small Costco, and the franchises and so forth. So this is just a start. So we're a complete movement And if you want to be part of that type of energy, that type of specialty, that type of expertise, please come forward.
Is there any, are there any trackable outcomes of member achievement yet that can be verified?
No, we're just getting started.
Okay, that's that was one of the questions that we got. And I told that person that we weren't. I didn't think that there was anything yet. I think that this is very much in the beginning of this program. But then the last question I got for you tonight, Mr. Simpson, is very simply, how does Wealth Exponential plan on generating revenue beyond the membership fees?
Well, first off, all of Kyle's coaching programs, when you come in, and if you know a company, like one of the things, if you know of a group that wants to build a membership organization, he will do it, and you get a percentage of it. But the membership fees is the smallest part. The biggest part is where one company sells to one of our members, and they take 5, 10, 15% of the marketing cost and put it into the pool. And so every time a transaction is made between the members on a new customer, money's put into the pool, and that pool is distributed every 90 days. Before long, we expect that pool to be $100,000, $1 million, and so forth, and it'll be distributed to every single member. And if you're free, you get so many points. If you're blue, you get 15% extra, and if you're gold at 29, you get a 50% extra. And then, so that's how the pool will be distributed on that. But the membership fees are the tiniest part.
Okay. And I look forward to this, and I hope I will be there, God willing. I will be there tomorrow if I can sit up straight. we will see how that's going to work out. But I plan on being there tomorrow. I will be sharing the link in the description of this video, which will come out first thing tomorrow morning. So go back, watch the video again. The link to where you can join us at 2 p.m. East. That's noon here in the mountains. So come on, join us if you have any questions about anything that you saw here today. Tomorrow, you can listen from the man, from the doctor himself. And then if you have any questions, you can ask him, and he can help you through a lot more of this. So, Les, do you got anything else, my friend?
No, I think that'll do it. And again, if you know, the big people that are really going to benefit from this is if they're insurance, if they're a real estate, if they're automobile salespeople, then they can have their own networking group. And that's one of the huge things for only $29 a month. But the other thing is, I really want nonprofits to understand this is a way to fund yourself by letting people know, bring them in, and you get all of those points and so forth when you bring them in. So those are the two things I want to end with.
All right. Well, remember, you can get a hold of Les Simpson by scanning that QR code right above his head. That takes you to his page on Community Pay It Forward, and you've got all of his contact information right then and there. It is linked directly to the page, so you can reach out to him. You can get a hold of him, go visit his website, all of that stuff. Or you can simply call him at 303-579-6881. That's 303-579-6881. Or Les, L-E-S, at csccourse.com. Once again, that's L-E-S, Les, at csccourse.com. Well, Les, I hope your 4th of July was fantastic. I hope that you are staying cool right now, because that's kind of hard to do. You know, unless you're living in a freezer, I don't see how you could be staying cool right now. But you know, so. But I want to thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we will see you again next month.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
All right. We'll see you later. Goodbye. So thanks again to Les Simpson. Once again, you can get a hold of him at 303-579-6881. 303-579-6881. I will be at that meeting tomorrow, and so I invite you to come and join us. Again, God willing, I do have a procedure that I go through tomorrow, but we're going to do exactly what we can, everything that we can to make sure that I'm there. I may be looking a little bit funny and might have a few extra holes that, well, it's going to be in my back. Hopefully you won't see them, but who knows? I could be a little cuckoo from the whole thing. So, hey, couple things. I am not a fan of this individual. His politics are not something that I appreciate, and I was not. I didn't follow him at all, but did lose Leslie Graham the other day to a massive heart attack. And I don't care what your politics are. I don't wish the loss of life on anybody. And I know that the one thing that he was working on was something that I think that we all truly do hope ends soon. He had just returned back into the country from trying to find a peaceful resolution for Ukraine. And unfortunately, his life was lost. I do find it a little humorous that he did not feel well when he got off the plane, but he told somebody that, I know I can't die yet. I'm not done doing this peace deal. So he unfortunately knew he was sick, but again, not a huge fan of his politics, but a life taken is a life that is, you know, that's not the way I want to see things. You know, I would never wish that upon anybody. So I send my thoughts and everything to his family and to the people who do care about him. So, and then one last thing before I let you go, we are trying real hard right now to get people to become part of the family. Okay? And what does that mean? That means that you let your business help people stand up. I've talked to a lot of people who said, well, you know, what we do is we take in and we give a portion to the local high school or something. Awesome. Good job. Keep doing it. Love it. Keep doing it. Why don't you give people a choice? Why don't you let people donate where their heart lies? That's what our program is about. We bring in smaller nonprofits from all around the world. Okay, we have people in Europe, in Africa, in other parts of the world that we try to raise money for, or we're doing business with. You can become part of this family for as little as $20 a month. Very simply, what you do is you join the family, and then your sales, you agree to give us a referral for every sale we help you generate. Okay, so you know, somebody comes in, they order a meal from your wonderful restaurant, and you say, you know what, we're going to give you 10% of every meal that comes in. That say that they came through you. What happens is they save their receipt, they attach it to the mission that they wish to support. Okay, so they prove that they came to you through us by using this wonderful thing. They just take a picture of the receipt, attach it to the mission they want to support. They hit send, they send it to us. We send it back to you and say, these people came to you, they want to support this wonderful mission partner, you give us that 10% of the meal. 70% of what you give us goes to help people in the community. Our goal, this isn't me trying to blow smoke. Our goal is very simple. Our goal is to help everyone. We want to find a way to help everyone. We invite you to join the family because your sales are power when you join the family today. So please, please, please consider joining the Community Pay It Forward family.
Every day, someone in our community is facing a challenge they shouldn't have to face alone. Your business can change that. When you join the Community Pay It Forward family, your kindness becomes action, and your sales becomes hope. For as little as $20 a month, you help guide families, nonprofits, and neighbors from crisis to stability. One small step, one powerful mission, one community coming together. Join the family today. Visit the website or scan the code and become a business where people can shop with purpose and support with heart.
Warning, the brown cloud is approaching. Some will try to outrun it. Others may not be so lucky. But don't worry, it's all part of the fun at the Chili Cook-Off for books and board games. Where the chili is hot, the flavors are bold. And Bear E has your back with the official Brown Cloud Preparedness Kit. Follow the plan, know your exits, and whatever you do, hold your breath, because this temporary pain is all for a great cause. Join us, laugh with us, survive the brown cloud, together at Key Largo Lounge in Greeley.
Join us November 8th at 11 a.m. for the 10th annual Chili Cook-Off for books and board games at our home field, Key Largo Lounge, where our small market team is making a huge statement. Scan the code for tickets and sponsorship information. Every Friday, people across the country put on red for one reason: to honor the women and men who left the comfort of home so we can live freely. These shirts are not about politics. They are not about a war. They are not about religion. They are about gratitude. They are about respect. They are about remembering everyone deployed. When you purchase one, you help us launch the Come Together Compass, a program built to guide families and heroes to the support that they need. Wear your pride, wear your gratitude, support Red Friday. Remember everyone deployed. That is extremely important right now. And I don't care if you've got a loved one over an ocean or over in the next city. These men and women have taken and given an oath to serve their country, their Constitution. I ask you to join us in honoring them by wearing red every Friday. So it's easy for me to do that because I'm a New Jersey Devils fan, so I wear a lot of red all the time. But I do make sure I wear red on Fridays. So if you're looking for a new shirt, please visit communitypayitforward.us. You can find a brand new shirt right there. I think that's going to about do it for us. I appreciate you joining us today. Please look in the description, in the information for tomorrow. When this is released tomorrow, I will be replaying it in the morning. And in the morning, it will have the link to where you can visit that the seminar at 2 p.m. East or noon Mountain to where you can find out a little bit more about what Les and I were talking about. So it sounds very interesting. And for nonprofits, look, if there's any chance for you to earn money, it's not going to hurt to find out more. And businesses, if you can take and once again, by joining our team, by joining our family, your business can support others with what Les is doing. That also brings support within communities everywhere. Please also make sure that you pay attention for 6 a.m. here Mountain or 8 a.m. Out east for what you got. We have already got, I think that we're on episode 68 tomorrow, 69 maybe tomorrow. But we're already getting up into the high double digits on what you got and having a lot of fun with them. Hopefully we're on a roll to where we will be doing them every morning. So that's what you got. All we do is team up one of our wonderful partners with the celebration of the day. Please check them out. They're a lot of fun. If you would like to come on and do us a favor, if you have a birthday or an anniversary or a special day in your life, say, hey, this is the day that I bought my brand new car back in 1975. I don't know why I said 75. I used to have a 74 Chrysler Cordoba. Maybe that's where that came from. I don't know. It was a big car. God. I didn't realize how big they were until I saw one the other day. I couldn't believe that there was one still on the road, honestly. But, mine had T-tops, so it was pretty cool. God, it was a clunker, but it was mine. So, for about a year, and then it broke down and I couldn't figure out how to fix it. So, but yeah, if you have a special holiday, if you have a special celebration, if there's a birthday coming up and you would like me to announce their name on air, simply go to www.communitypayitforward.us, type in what you got in the search bar. It'll take you to the page, fill out the form, and I'll read their name live on air. But that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. This has been Community Impact. We will be back next week with the mysterious and the wonderful and the awesomeness that is my wife, Adrian, and Wednesday returns on our new night, Tuesday night, next Wednesday. So join us for a free tarot reading. All you have to do is tune in. Come on. Let's have some fun. Wednesday is 1 week from tonight. Tomorrow night, Santa Stories of Impact, right here, basically right now. He'll be finishing up right now. So, but until then, we'll see you in the morning for What You Got. My name is Zach Clayton. I am the president and founder of Community Pay It Forward, the Come Together Compass, Pact Podcasting Networks. Reminding you, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. Please. Everyone stumbles every once in a while. No one has to stay on the ground when we can lend a hand. No one has to go it alone when we all come together. I will see you tomorrow for What You Got. Thank you very much. Please love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Goodbye.
Hello world, my name is Z, or you can call me Mr. Z. I am a web developer and I am also a consultant at Z World Webs. My one goal is to develop custom websites that are specifically catered to your organization's needs. I completely understand that building a website is an exhilarating, exciting, and significant step in connecting with your audience. Your organization has Z potential to make a meaningful impact, whether it's supporting animal rights, advocating for equality, combating human trafficking, or honoring the brave individuals who have served our country. Your mission is too important to be held back by the challenges a website can present. And I am here to ensure that your website works for you, not against you. Whether it's maintaining, developing, or redeveloping a custom website that is specifically catered to your needs. And with that being said, I would be more than delighted to learn more about your organization and, of course, develop a website Z World is waiting for. Thank you.
Bring me home, out alone, to show me the way. You wanna hold the heart of Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here, 'cause it's not quite clear to be a part of Sunset Boulevard.